satisfying, especially after all that effort. But Martin Gimenez says these kinds of laws
The regulations were designed to ensure that this chemical, which in the wrong hands could be used to release civilians, violate international law, commit war crimes, these regulations to prevent that really had been violated in a way that was intended to accomplish exactly that, to obtain the supplies needed to make mustard gas.
Peter Valashek agrees to plead guilty to the lesser charges, and he's giving them lots of information.
So the idea was that he would help you get other people who were connected to this case, that the investigation could throw its net wider?
I don't want to get into the specific details of this investigation, but of course there were ongoing investigative activities.
Even after so many years, he's still cagey about the details. They have Peter Valashek, but they don't want to stop there. They want to go higher, to go after the handlers who are putting in the orders from Iran. And in return, the German is pushing for more concessions.
His attorney said, if we pay for the hotel and a guard, can we keep him in the hotel across the street from the courthouse? And so we wanted his cooperation. He said, yeah. And then he brought his girlfriend over. He had a girlfriend at the time.
When I first hear this, I'm really shocked. It's taken so much work to catch him, and now this guy's suddenly out of jail and living it up in a hotel and flying his girlfriend over from Germany. Dennis Bass is at pains to explain that Peter Valashek paid for the ticket himself, and he tells me these kinds of deals are pretty common when someone's cooperating and giving investigators good intelligence.
I mean, there have been cases, particularly that I work with DEA drug cases, where we got large drug smugglers. And so DEA might pay so just to keep them happy, to keep them cooperating.
Still, to me, it all seems like a bit of a risk. In going after those higher up the ladder, are they taking their eyes off the business they've worked so hard to get? Peter Valashek's obviously pleased with his situation.
Conveyed this sense of reality that he was happy with himself. He had a self-assured air in the way he presented himself amongst those groups.
Special Agent Bass knows it's dangerous to loosen their grip on Peter Valashek, especially with his girlfriend on the scene. So he takes precautions.
She came over and stayed with him, and we watched her because we were afraid that they still might try to leave. And she took a train to Niagara Falls. Yeah, and we had agents follow her because, Canada's easy to get into, a good place to flee through. And we watched to see, if she went to travel agent, and she didn't.
Peter Valashek's girlfriend isn't planning some great escape. She actually just goes to the bar and gets pretty drunk. Special Agent Bass can breathe a little easier knowing his guys are watching. But now the Germans got one concession, he's going to want more, and that will prove tricky.
Picture this: static cars, idling engines, angry horns. Now, picture you zooming past it all, light and breezy. The sweet feeling of whizzing past traffic. Book your train journey via AvantiWestCoast.co.uk. Avanti West Coast. Feel good travel.
Switch to EE broadband to get our fastest full fiber ever.
How fast is fast?
Up to 1.6 gig fast, and with faster speeds in more places than anyone else.
So I can live stream the map.
Whilst I video chat with my friends.
And I game all at the same time.
That's right, all powered by BT for only $29.99 a month.
That's epic.
No wonder broadband switchers choose EE. Offer ends 6th of June.
Price increases from 31st of March each year by £3 a month. New customers 24 months, 43.7% UK over. Verify EE.co.uk/claim.
Iranian handlers is coming together nicely. But Dennis Bass hasn't stopped there. He's looking into the company that sold the chemicals, Alcala. It's a part of the investigation that's intrigued me too. When I first started looking into what happened at Alcala, I was doubtful I'd find anyone to talk to me after. We contacted anyone we could find that used to work there. And finally, someone replied. David Gleason.
Alcoholic had a good reputation. Basically, you would consider them in the special chemical center.
Back in the 80s, he was a manager at Alcala.
Documents for water treatment.
He's retired now, but as you can hear, he's still really into chemicals.
Looking for radiation curing.
Not only does David Gleason remember the incident, he was actually one of a group of senior staff who gave the green light for the deal with Peter Valschek's company.
I'd been contacted by them by telephone and agreed to meet with them.
I immediately wonder if one of them could have been Peter Valschek.
As I recall, there were three of them.
Were the individuals Americans or were they from abroad? Do you remember?
No, they were German.
It's frustrating, but David Gleason can't say for certain whether Peter Valschek was in the room. Perhaps he sent some people to set up the account with Alcala on his behalf. If it was him, he didn't stand out. But the former Alcala manager does remember the order. They were interested in buying a lot of thiodine dichrome.
We spent a lot of time quizzing and discussing that exact issue, that we had not seen any usage of that size.
An order that size was rare. Usually factories making ink might buy 5 or 6 barrels at a time. Peter Valschek's final order was for 430 barrels. So it stood out to the team. And that makes me wonder why they didn't realise that something was so clearly wrong and put a stop to it. Sitting in that meeting, David Gleason and his colleagues know that the chemical could be used to make mustard gas. They see all these red flags, but the Germans insist there's nothing to be concerned about.
Did it raise any further alarms or was that enough? Just somebody saying that seemed to be enough for the order to go ahead?
I guess you would say we took them at their faith and worked out a business arrangement.
The company would later issue a statement saying that no one at Alcala knew the chemical was to be diverted to Iran. But someone at Alcala had to have known it wasn't going to Europe, because the only way to get a mustard gas precursor to a sanctioned country is by fudging the details on the shipping forms. And Dennis Bass thinks he knows who at Alcala had a hand in that. He just needs some help to prove it. So he contacts Telex, a wire service used a lot at that time. He wants to see the original messages between Peter Valschek and Alcala. He has a hunch that one of the wires he picked up in his raid at the company has been altered. When he gets the originals, it's there, black and white, a direct message between Peter Valschek and Leslie Hinkleman, the ever-so-helpful export manager who helped him carry out the sting operation to get the German to the US. In the original wire, Leslie Hinkleman discusses trying to obscure where the order was really headed. She'd edited her copy of the telex to hide the truth before handing it over with her other files to Dennis Bass. Leslie Hinkleman admits she did try to help the order get past customs, but she says she only did it because the customer, Peter Valschek, asked her to. She just wanted to be helpful, and she's adamant she never knew the order was going to end up in Iran.
Why do you think she did that?
I can't answer what her motivations were. All I can tell you was that she was very thoughtful in trying to see the customers were taken care of.
We wanted to talk to Leslie Hinkleman, but sentenced to 18 months probation. Years later, she'll say she wasn't the only person at Alcalá who knew what was going on, that she tried to flag the dodgy shipments to her superiors, and as far as she understood, they deliberately looked the other way. But Martin Jimenez, the prosecutor, never has enough evidence to bring any other Alcalá employees to court.
It was difficult to put your finger on any single person who had all of the knowledge that would have been needed to be guilty of the crime. In law enforcement, the goal is always to charge individuals whenever possible rather than just corporations. But in this case, we reluctantly concluded that the conduct was fundamentally corporate at Outback and not individual.
Instead, the company pleads guilty to an export violation and agrees to pay a fine of $1,000. After so many decades, I wonder whether David Gleason has any regrets.
You felt like you'd done your job properly,
At that point in time, I would say yes, we did.
and now?
Hindsight's 20/20. I suppose if you look at it from a hindsight position, we probably should have done a better job in investigating the actual usage.
Whether inadvertently or through naivety, David Gleason, Leslie Hickman, and all the others at Alcalá who gave the green light for the shipment were enablers. You find them everywhere. People who defer to others, even when they have a feeling something's not right, because they want to please their bosses, or the customer, or they're hoping for that promotion. They might not have bad intentions, but the heart's felt just the same. Peter Valaschek, he's not in this category. The gas man is a very different type of enabler. At this point, he's still in custody under the watchful eye of a police guard, but he's pretty comfortable. He's sitting in his hotel room in Baltimore, his girlfriend's there. All things considered, his luck has turned.
You know, he just thought he was better than everybody else. He was a real cold guy. I mean, you know, there's some defendants I've had in cases that, you know, I got to know and I like them. I mean, heroin smugglers, they're bad people criminally, but personality-wise. I can remember a guy, they put him in a witness protection program. And so they gave him a new identity, and now he's smuggling heroin again under a new identity. But he cooperated. So we put him in a hotel. He was the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. And so we take turns watching him in the hotel. And Richard, this is my partner, was watching him on a Sunday. And he liked him so much, he said, "Buddy, have you ever eaten turkey?" And he said, "No." He said, "It's Father's Day. My wife's making the turkey. Go in, shower up. I'll take you to my house and you'll have turkey." Unheard of. So he says, "Okay, thanks, Richard." Goes in. And Rich is waiting. He doesn't come out. He says to the maid, "Give me the pace key." Opens the door. He sees the mop behind the bathroom door. And he hung himself and he was dead. And we were sad about this guy. He was a nice guy. We were eating, you know, watching him, staying with him. And we just got to like the guy. I mean, you know, Peter Wildcheck was not that kind of guy. If he had hung himself, I would have lost it.
The feeling, it turns out, is mutual.
I hate Americans. A good American is a dead American.
In all his hours of interviews, Dennis Bass never really got to understand Peter Valaschek. He was more concerned with how his orders happened. I want to go one step further, to understand not just how he did it, but why he did it, and how he feels about it now. And for that, there's only one person who can help. After more than 35 years, I've persuaded that enabler to step out of the shadows, to tell his side of the story. Coming up in episode 3,
FBI and the Americans are sleeping. Escaping.
Thanks for listening to The Gaslight. It's reported by Chloe Hadjimafaye and produced by me, Claudia Williams. It's written by both of us. Gary Marshall is the narrative editor and Jasper Corbett is the editor. The sound design is by Hannah Barrow. Original theme music by Tom Kinsella. With thanks to Kavita Puri, Matt Russell and Katie Bennett. You can listen to more episodes today by subscribing to Tortoise Plus or by downloading the Tortoise app. You can listen to our previous investigations right here on Tortoise Investigates while you wait for the next episode. And to hear more from our award-winning newsroom, search for Tortoise wherever you get your podcasts.
Picture this. Static cars, idling engines, angry horns. Now, picture you zooming past it all, alert and breathing. The sweet feeling of whizzing past traffic. Book your train journey via atlanticwestcoast.co.uk. Atlantic West Coast. Feel good travel.
Switch to EE broadband and get our fastest home fiber ever.
How fast is fast?
Up to 1.6 gig fast, and with faster speeds in more places than anyone else.
So I can live stream the map.
Whilst I'm video chat with my friends.
And I game all at the same time.
That's right, all powered by BT for only $29.99 a month.
That's epic.
No wonder broadband switchers choose EE. Offer ends 6th of June.
Price increases on 30,000 March each year by £3 a month. New customers 24 months, 43.7% UK availability. Verified EU.co.uk/names. Terms apply. In a meeting of allied intelligence agencies, a group of operatives reunite with a colleague from one of the top intelligence agencies in the world, revealing the nickname they gave him, the Master. Growing up undercover, I had another name for him. Dad. Yes, something else you want to say? Join us in our espionage podcast, Spies and Lies, where we delve into and analyze acts of espionage throughout history. Follow Spies and Lies wherever you listen to podcasts. You won't lose.
This is the message break.
The Football Ramble is back with a brand new live show. Football Ramble time to love.
We decided to scroll through Twitter and trying to choose all the things we want to get said about it.
We'll be hitting the London Palladium on Friday, 20th of September for one night only. Presenting the most outrageous football moments of the last 15 years of the Football Ramble.
There's no most conscious for the last which you know, you've got a bit of a horse to like to say.
Grab your tickets now at footballramblelive.com. That's footballramblelive.com.
What you are about to hear is a classic session of Where Should We Begin with Esther Perel. None of the voices in the series are ongoing patients of Esther Perel, and each episode is a one-time counseling session for the purposes of maintaining confidentiality. Names and some identifiable characteristics have been removed, but their voices and their stories are real. Support for Where Should We Begin comes from Solar Ray Supplements. Let's talk perimenopause. It shouldn't be a taboo topic. It is a unique time though, and Solar Ray can help you find comfort while you navigate your now with their new doctor-formulated Her Life Stages perimenopause solution. It offers support for a healthy cycle, hot flashes and night sweats, plus mood and sleep. Own the stage. Visit solarray.com/Esther and use code STAGES20 to save 20% on this and any Stages formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Support for Where Should We Begin comes from Solar Ray Supplements. Dealing with invisible discomfort, confusing health issues, wondering, is it just me? Let's talk menstruation, perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. And let's talk about them proudly. They're the normal life phases we move through as women. And Solar Ray delivers support every step of the way with Her Life Stages. This first-of-its-kind comprehensive new supplement line made for women by women offers doctor-formulated solutions at each stage, along libido support across phases. Find the product for your stage and find one complete, easy-to-take solution you can count on for your most common concerns. The supplements feature clinically studied ingredients and no soy or hormones. Now is the time to exceed your goals, defy expectations, be an unapologetically powerful woman. Own the stage. Visit solaray.com/Astaire and use code HERLIFE20 to save 20% on any stages format. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
The first couple of years that we were dating and were together, we had a lot of really good sex, right? We were really sexually compatible.
It was amazing because I was like, oh my god, I met somebody as into as I am. And then, like about a year later, it started to peter off.
I got a really high stress job, and my reaction to stress was to kind of like just lock my sex drive away, and like I can't think about that, I don't deal with it. One more thing I'm going to do is I have such a thing.
There's some walk around. That's really hard. In the day-to-day, so we'll go, you know what? We started to get into this dynamic where I would ask and he'll kind of reject it. That's get a no.
I put on weight in the past 5 years, and I don't feel good about my body, so it's harder to like think about initiating sex.
I was like, I don't want to initiate all the time. I want you to initiate. I think that was hard for her because that was like a really different role that she hadn't ever occupied, and I was shifting roles on her, and it was really opening her up to
This is a couple that is together 17 years. They are a strong couple, deeply connected, close friends, very tight with each other, having gone through major life-changing experiences together, who also identify the lack of sexual interest and relevance at this point in their life, and the multiple factors that have influenced, including body changes.
I know we get seen as a straight couple, we're not a straight couple, so like, one of my worrying things about therapists is that they're going to think everything has to do with me being trans, which doesn't, and it's frustrating for both of us. And at the same time, you know, it's not perfect, like I still do have things about my body that feel uncomfortable. And so, I'm sure on some level I'm not as secure like in me.
You know, I remember when we were sexually intimate, and I touched him, and he said, "Don't touch me like that, you're touching me like a girl." And it really freaked me out, and I was like, and I don't know how to touch you, I don't know how to have sex with you the way that makes you feel good about your body.
This is where she can begin with Astaire Perel. We actually met in theater, and we got cast in a movie together.
Many scenes. I thought you were straight. Because she kept talking about her ex-boyfriend. And I didn't know he liked me. And so I said, I've been thinking about kissing for a while. I'm only made up for 3 hours. We didn't invite
You were dating across the spectrum?
It was sort of my first relationship with someone at the time who was a woman. If not identified. So
Identified as well.
really close. So it was a very
Because when I like that, it says what?
to me it meant masculinity that who I was, but I knew I couldn't kiss anybody, which also to me was the relationship that I could have with a woman who was feminine. It might look like something that looked heteronormative on the outside, but it was different. It was something pushing me, pushing back. I couldn't feel where my double checker. And I was probably at the time overcompensating for my stupid.